How's it going? Welcome to the Verbal Journal Podcast, episode 122, and it's a public one, so welcome to the public and the private. Welcome to the private people as well. I hope you all mingle well together. Say hello to each other in the comments section. Be like, "Oh, are you a member? Are you a member? Or you're a patron? You remember? Oh, you're neither. Okay, yeah, me neither. You know what I mean? You can kind of get to know each other. Oh, are you a member? Or you're a patron? Oh, you're a member. You know what I mean? No, you're a patron. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I got you confused with someone else. You know what I mean? This could be like kind of a good reunion thing. Anyways, I make every third episode public here on the Verbal Journal Pod. And so we are back in the thick of it with a lot of exciting things to talk about. Obviously, we'll talk about the new video. And that's going to be really exciting. Let me just give you a rundown of what we got going on here so you kind of know what to expect. I don't want you to get caught up in this podcast, and I don't want you to get attached before you really know if you want to listen or watch. You know what I mean? So let me explain to you what's going on here. First of all, I got a haircut. Let me just mention that off the top. I cut my own hair. You might have seen at the end of the video. I had long hair, and now I have short hair on my head. This part's still long. I don't know how to get this part shorter. So write into verbaljournalpodcast@gmail.com if you know. How do I get the part that's below my head to get shorter? Because that's the part I'm stuck on. All right. So what we'll have here on the agenda, or what we do have here on the agenda, is I'm doing the introduction right now. Then we will get into the horizontal integration segment where I talk about the YouTube channel, the What's Therapy channel. And we will get to some good news. We will get to some comedy. We have a comedy segment. It's a special headlines edition, which is great because I'll explain why that's great. But we got rid of the headlines section. So now today we have a headlines themed comedy segment, which should be kind of nice. Don't worry, we're not going to go over too much news. We've taken care of that. You know what I mean? So then we'll have the research segment, image segment. We got a pretty good jam-packed image segment. We got a little bit of an audio-visual segment. Of course, we got some follow-ups, some mailbag, and we'll see what else. But that's a general rundown. And so let's kind of, let's get going, right? Anything else we need to do before we go? I'm looking over at my producer here, Donna. You know what I mean? Am I good to go? I've been really getting these intros down, right? Right? Come on. They used to be like 10 minutes. They used to be more entertaining, too. Yeah, that's actually a pretty good point. So let's get right into the horizontal integration segment. So you might know me from the What's Therapy channel. That might be where you are coming to hear from. And thank you to the members. I can refresh so you can see more of them. You know, they're so cool. These people give me real hard-earned money to do this stuff. And so I made a new video. You might have seen it. Oh, and all the... you might have seen it. You might have not seen it. I did a video about sort of a message to people leaving the MAGA movement. And I'm really happy with how it came out. I really fell down this rabbit hole of talking about the death penalty. But I ended up feeling like it was a really useful example to talk about differences between being a conservative and being an extremist, essentially. If I had had more time or like more inclination to do a deep dive in other ways, I probably would have wanted to go into like the history of the conservative movement because I would have had to do so much reading and research. So I don't know. You always have to kind of bite off what you can chew, essentially. So why is the side of YouTube here like purple? Is that like, why is like the border around the video purple? It's not anymore? Did it change? Okay. It does change? Sorry, am I tripping out? Since when does this part change color? Okay, whatever. I'll have to kind of review that later and cut this out if I look stupid. So yeah, what'd you think of the video? I obviously made a sort of background thing like I do. I explained how I do this in the previous video a little bit, but it involves a lot of frame making in Photoshop. Oh, this is funny. I thought about mentioning this on like a live stream. But yeah, you do sort of watch this stuff going back, and it's kind of interesting to see like people's reactions in the background. I thought this guy seemed like his expression seems like he's not totally on board with gratuitous violence. Like his cognitive dissonance was at a different level than some of the other people. Because when you look at his face, he seems like he's like, wait, really? We're just going to laugh at the idea of hurting someone?
And I said, you can take the hand away, okay?
And not just laugh, but clap. Everyone gets out their white gloves. I'm sorry, but cops in white gloves, it's a little bit on the nose. Oh, you don't want you want to wear white gloves like you're a freaking magician or something? Like you don't want to leave a fingerprint? Like it just looks like people who are trying to cover things up. But okay, this guy with his freaking hat. I hope he's doing great. Anyways, as everyone breaks out into applause at the idea of gratuitous violence, this isn't a policy difference. You know what I mean? The guy with the handsome jaw is a little bit unsure. Yeah, you could just see for a second he's like, oh, I don't know how to go back and forth, I guess. Anyways, I released a new video. The things I say for filler. I was thinking of doing a Verbal Journal podcast highlight reel, but that talk about things I don't have time to do. But that would be a funny one to do all the times I'm clearly just filling space. Something to think about. Okay, so it's like an hour later now or so. I realized there was some lag, which was an issue we were having before. So I was like, I got to finally take care of that. So I just spent a while deleting a lot of stuff in Streamlabs. I record this in Streamlabs because that's the most convenient way to do it. And let's see if that worked. I think it might have worked. Is there lag now? I got to move really quickly to see. No, I'm not seeing any lag. But it might come back, you know what I mean? So we might have to... I honestly, I've said this before, I'm a little burnt out on digital-based creative things. But in making these last few videos, there haven't been like severe technical issues. Otherwise, I'd probably just completely give up. Uh-oh, the lag's coming back. Yeah, okay. I don't know. I'm going to take another hour and try to fix it, I guess. So getting back into the horizontal integration here, we got a lot to horizontally integrate. I talked about the video. Oh, yeah, this is kind of exciting, actually. So I've been on YouTube for 5 years now. July 28th, 2020. So that's 5 years ago. So now I'm I got my 5 year. I think they send a plaque for that. No? Did they send a plaque? Did we already get a plaque? No? The plaque's for 100,000 subscribers. Okay. Well. So, no plaque yet, but I have been around for 5 years. I've gotten a little bit better, I'd say. If you go all the way back to the first videos, you'll see I was a little bit more janky. Is that the word? Are people still saying janky? Look at that. That's hilarious. Oh my god. That's amazing. And then I did this funny thing where I had a banner at the bottom, like when I started my channel, and I would just like always put something in like a little message there, but I stopped doing that pretty early on. So anyways, 5 years of the channel, celebrate good times, come on, essentially. So all right, 5 years on the YouTube. Oh, and I'm going to do a live stream talking about, following up on this video, talking about the rule of law. I've talked about wanting to do a rule of law live stream, so I'm going to do one soon, talk about what is the rule of law, what's going on with all these people talking about the rule of law. So, it looks like I might have gotten the lag thing fixed here with the podcast. That's great, because I don't want to deal with tech issues. I would be tempted to just like give up the podcast essentially, but okay. Just kidding. Hello. So what do we have now? What's going on now? What do we have next? Looking into, was there something added to the script here, to the doc? This wasn't here before. Is this a mistake? What is this, a prank? I'm supposed to read this? This is not a prank. Sorry, I'm just talking to my producer here. What is this about? He's here? He's in the building? Are you kidding me? Okay, I'm sorry, y'all. I don't make all the decisions here on the podcast. Okay, this isn't like the main channel. Okay, so anyways, I have to announce the next segment, which I apologize in advance about. We will be doing a marketing department check-in with our former marketing department head, Tom. I think I've been doing really well at marketing, and I don't know why we need Tom. I'm a therapist. Like, I understand people's minds and psychology. Like, I'm good at marketing. I understand marketing. You know what I mean? I'm like in it. So, due to significant issues in marketing, we have decided to rehire Tom to help the team here at the Verbal Journal podcast studios. It's not been that bad. Look. Just pull this up. Yeah, I know. The previous public episode was low. I know, but that's not that bad. You know what I mean? 72 views, that's not that. Yeah, it has been going down. I know. I see the numbers have been going down for the public episodes. Yeah, I see that. But it's not a trend. Look, it went up and then it went down. I just have to come out as different things. It's not, we're fine with marketing. Yeah, 72 is low. I get that 72 is low. Yeah, I know. I haven't even been posting the private episodes. I know that's a problem. I'm supposed to post the private episodes to the community page. Look, I don't think we need any help, though. Okay, I don't think we need Tom. Also, he's a child. Like Tom, so Tom's 15. All right, I'll just tell you that if you're in the audience, Tom's a little kid. He was head of the marketing department with his mom, and then there was a whole falling out between him and his mom. Just to kind of give you the backstory here, we have a big staff, and we don't need the marketing team. We have other people that do things like me. I was doing the marketing, and I have been doing a really good job. Okay, so apparently Tom's back. I guess he's on school break or something like that, but that's not a good reason for us to hire him. So apparently Tom has some feedback on the recent titles of the episodes. Yeah, what do you have to say, Tom? Okay, so apparently Swan Song with Cow is a bad title. Okay, and then apparently Headlines, Comedy, Pathos, and Audio Visuals is also a bad title, according to Tom. I don't know what he knows. And then apparently Talking About Actually Everything is a bad title also. So I'm being told that I was given 3 public episode opportunities, which is 9 weeks, and I failed to attract an audience, and in fact attracted a decreasing audience. So I've now been forced to work with this person, Tom. So you will probably notice, however this current thing is titled, is probably super good or something like that. I'm sure it's really making a huge difference on the numbers. You know what I mean? So I'm now being told I should be promoting the Patreon and the memberships more. So I have a message to read about that. Here at Verbal Journal Podcast Productions, Inc. Incorporated Corp., affiliated with What's Therapy, Inc. Limited and Co., we do not accept sponsorships. We do not accept sponsorships for the podcast. We do not accept sponsorships for the main channel. I'll pull that up just to demonstrate what I'm talking about. We don't get offered. We don't get offered sponsorships. That is true. It being, full disclosure, we don't get offered sponsorships. That's true. But also we don't accept them. So please consider becoming a member of the main channel, the What's Therapy channel, and joining the Patreon. Tom, I want you to leave, okay? That was the check-in, and I did it, and you were here to see it. I'd like for you to leave now so I can do the rest of the podcast. Is that too much to ask? It is too much to ask? Okay, next up we have the good news segment where I review some good news, and we're going to do this very quickly. We try to make it very clear we're not a news podcast. We're not a news podcast, and I don't feel ashamed of that. But I do want to just let you know what's going on in the world, not in like a news sense. I just want to inform you about things, because we are a things podcast. So, okay, the arc of this podcast is so funny. I really do want to look back and do some sort of highlight reel. It's just, this has really been a fun journey. Okay, so good news segment. First up, judge issues temporary injunction against Republican President Donald Trump's administration's cancellation of humanities grants. U.S. judge blocks Republican President Donald Trump-backed Medicaid cuts to Planned Parenthood. 2 Israeli rights groups say their country is committing genocide in Gaza. This is the first time Israeli groups have accused Israel of genocide in a significant way like this. Israeli rights group, this is another article about the same thing. A new law in Benin grants citizenship to slave descendants, and Ciara is among the first. So I think that's just a really cool idea to give automatic citizenship to descendants of slaves. Jeremy Corbyn confirms launch of new political party. This is a huge deal. This guy has been wrongly cast out of the sort of like most public left-leaning I don't even know what I'm trying to say. This guy's good and he should be given more power in the UK. Pro-Ukrainian hackers claim massive cyber attack on Russia's Aeroflot, and this is a group called Silent Crow. One cool thing about that is they're activists. They have never demanded a ransom from their victims, and they clearly try to minimize the harm that they do. I'm not going to say I'm on Ukraine's side. It's not like I'm taking a side of a country in a war, but I definitely think Russia's wrong to be at war with Ukraine. Well, I guess I'm taking Ukraine's side. Ukraine's right to be defending themselves, and Russia should stop attacking Ukraine. It's been years now, and it's wrong. So Russia, stop attacking Ukraine. What Americans think about Israel's military action in Gaza, according to a new Gallup poll. I actually didn't look at these numbers. I just saved it. Oh, yeah, because I saw they were... I saw they were like going in the right direction. It's a new low of backing of the genocide of the Palestinians, and you can read more about that. 71% of Republicans approve of Israel's actions in Gaza because they're killing people who are not white, I assume. 16-point drops among Democrats and independents. So it's just, very obviously unjustified murder and starvation, and it's just horrifying to wake up every day, as we did today, and see, how many more Palestinians were murdered while they were trying to get food. It's unbelievable. But this is the Goodish news segment, so we try to move on from that stuff. Kamala Harris will not run for governor of California. That sounds good. I heard someone say that they think she might run for president. I can't believe that. I cannot believe that. I can't even imagine. People have to have a limit to their humiliation. Okay, Canada to recognize Palestinian state at the UN General Assembly. Fantastic. Palestine Action wins bid in the UK to challenge UK ban under anti-terrorism laws. So, good. They're obviously not a terrorist group. They just want Israel to stop killing people and want the UK to stop funding it. Marine Corps vet's wife released from just following orders custody after advocacy from the Republican senator's office. So this woman who has been arrested and had her freedoms withheld from her for how long? She's one of tens of thousands of people. Oh, we're getting some lag here. I'm sorry. This is these are the happy couple. And I'm sorry, how long was she in? Okay, sorry, I was just looking. I had to go down this far to say when her freedoms were taken away from her. May 27th. That's 2 months ago. But because her husband served in the armed forces, he was able to, I guess, get the attention of a Republican. Oh my God, this lag is insane. How am I supposed to do this pod with this lag? Honestly, I actually don't know how to get rid of it. I'm going to have to spend some time this week figuring out, or else we're going back to audio only. So anyways, looks like the Republicans are willing to kind of pick and choose. Oh, wait, oops, we went a little too far taking away people's freedoms there. Now, don't you think the government should work the opposite way, leaning away from taking people's freedoms and then only doing it when absolutely obviously necessary, not taking away people's freedoms and then kind of picking and choosing, oh, let's actually give some freedoms back. So these two kids missed their mom for 2 months. They didn't have their mom for 2 months. Judge orders Republican Trump administration to explain why order to restore Voice of America wasn't followed. Judge blocks Republican President Donald Trump's administration from ending protections for 60,000 people from Central America and Nepal. Australia wipes $10 billion off of student loans, targeting cost of living relief. Interesting. You can just cut student loans and help millions of people. That's interesting. Australia also boosts underwriting scheme for renewables to meet clean energy target. What a fascinating idea. Okay, I don't know. I didn't know where to put this. Okay, they're fighting poaching, so it's in the Goodish news segment. But this headline says scientists in South Africa are making rhino horns radioactive to fight poaching. Now, I know I saw another article this week that they found radioactive wasps near a nuclear facility. So I get that there's a whole, radioactive thing going on, as that famous song talked about. Radio, you know what I mean. Okay, but the point is, I just have a quick question here about the radioactive rhinoceroses. Just a quick question. And I'm a layman. You know what I mean? I will gladly admit that I'm a layman in the realm of zoological radioactivity. What do we think about the idea of maybe not doing this? I guess would be my question. Like, what do we think about the idea of maybe not making rhinoceroses radioactive? Because I get it. You know what I mean? I read the article. I understand. They say it's harmless to the animals, but it can be detected by customs agents. I understand the logic. You know what I mean? What I wonder is, like, are we sure? Are we sure that look, I'm worried about it harming the rhinoceroses. My main worry, though, is, like, how do we know it doesn't seep into the rest of the sort of organism? I don't know. I just wonder, you put it in the horn, and then what if it seeps into the rest of it? I don't like the idea of making rhinoceroses radioactive. Why don't we start with, like, maybe like an ant or something? Even that, honestly, I would just say keep the radioactivity away from the animals in general. Okay, so it seems like the lag gets worse when I go to the window with a bunch of tabs open. So that's good. We're doing some kind of live troubleshooting on the air. That's awesome. I'd love to be doing that. Okay. Slovenia bans arms trade with Israel over its actions in Gaza. Yeah, I mean, why would any countries give guns to a country that's committing genocide? This is crazy. So Israel released the last two people they were holding captive who were on the Freedom Flotilla, which went with Greta Thunberg, and I believe it's the same vessel, and showed up to try to bring aid and also just symbolically bring awareness to the starvation of Palestinians. I'm sorry, I didn't realize that Christian Smalls was one of them. The famous union organizer from the U.S. has been arrested in Israel for the last 2 months? Or for the last, like, how long? More than 10,000 Palestinian political prisoners remain caged in Israeli occupation prisons, at least 320 of them children, held in violation of international law and subjected to horrific forms of abuse and torture. But we always hear about those Israeli hostages that Hamas is holding, not the 10,000 Palestinian hostages. I just did not realize this famous union organizer, Christian Smalls, was one of these people held in Israeli prison. How did that not make the news? Like, I didn't realize that. Damn, what a human being, honestly. Let us all strive to be like Greta Thunberg and Christian Smalls and all these other people that put their lives on the line for human rights. UK ninja sword ban begins as 1,000 weapons surrendered in knife crime crackdown. So let's give the ninja swords back. Maybe we could even give the guns back. Tesla ordered by Florida jury to pay $243 million in fatal autopilot crash. This is a huge deal. Really sad 2019 incident. Guy leaned down to pick up his phone while he's driving a Tesla. Maybe he thought the thing called full self-driving actually was full self-driving, but it killed someone and significantly injured someone else when the car hit them. So Tesla is responsible for a significant amount of money. This is the first wrongful death of a third party resulting from autopilot. So Tesla, we will see Tesla's stock crashing in the next few months as a result of this, and also as a result of how their sales keep dropping. So that's good because their leader is a white supremacist who joined the administration to take away a lot of the services that people rely on and redirect them towards his private businesses. So it's good. Sheriff's deputies are disciplined in traffic stop that led to students just following orders detention. This is in Utah. The police are not allowed to text in a signal chat to just following orders agents at DHS just following orders administration. But they did do that, and they gave away the information of this 19-year-old dreamer. That's someone who is in this country because they were brought here as a child. And she is her visa expired over a decade ago, and she has a pending asylum case. But the police decided to text her information after a BS traffic stop to the just following orders men who don't have their father's respect until they kill a few people or something like that. And so these sheriff's deputies have been disciplined I assume that means they were spanked or something. I don't really know how that works, honestly. Caribbean activists celebrate as St. Lucia strikes down gay sex ban. So apparently 60 countries in the world criminalize gay sex, which is crazy because gay sex is totally cool and normal. So maybe countries shouldn't restrict that. Judge blocks Republican President Donald Trump's administration from fast-tracking deportations of immigrants paroled into the U.S. That means people with legal status. Unbelievable. Nigerian nurses end strike following deal with government. So it's a good sign that if you ever have issues at your workplace, there's one and only one way if push comes to shove, and that is to strike. The government pledged to address the issues raised by nurses and resolved that no nurse who participated in the strike would be punished by the government. So that is how labor organizing works when you do it. All right, so we're getting through things here. I apologize for the lag, obviously, but you're all very strong, and you're showing a lot of inner strength in your ability to manage your response to the lag. You're showing a lot of distress tolerance, and you're showing a lot of power, a lot of powerful energy. So we're going to go right into the next segment, which is the comedy segment, and this is, as I mentioned at the top, this is a headlines-themed comedy segment, okay, with two parts. So part one, UN report finds United Nations reports are not widely read. This is a real Reuters headline. UN report finds United Nations reports are not widely read. Now that sounds really interesting. I didn't personally read it. Next up on the comedy segment, headlines edition, Panama ports say it will discuss port sale with Panama government. I just thought that was funny because you would think that if there's two things that Panama ports knows, it's ports and Panama. So I just thought that was really powerful, and I wanted to highlight that. I think part one was a little bit funnier, personally, I would say. All right. So next, wait, is that a thing? Did I steal that from someone? Is that Matthew McConaughey's thing? He's cool there, right? He's not up to a bunch of really weird stuff nowadays, right? Okay, well, I'll just say all right twice. All right. Yeah, that sounds fine. All right. So we now have the research segment. So this is where I delve into some research, okay? And we try to stay up to date with the research. So first article we're going to look at today is kind of interesting. Growing impact of unintended Starlink broadband emission on radio astronomy in the SKA low, in the ska low frequencies. So that's not ska as in the band, the music. The that is something else. And Starlink is the company owned by the world's most hoarding wealth individual, Elon Musk, and the former special government employee. A big boy with the nice big with the big freaking glassy eyes. Okay, but the point is, so this is an article about doing a survey of looking at unintended emission from Starlink. You could say neglectful emission from Starlink satellites, and they found 112,534 individual detections of 1,806 unique Starlink satellites, some emitting broadband emission and others narrowband emission. And this is actually, in the worst cases, some data sets that other researchers are putting together to study space have detectable Starlink satellites in 30% of all images acquired. So that's not ideal, I think. Astronomy is one of the domains that suffers from the launch of these satellites. So it's just interesting. I never thought about that. All these satellites that are in space, it can actually mess up the readings of astronomical observations. So if we look at the discussion, because that's the best thing to do to read so you just scroll down to the discussion. That's when they tell you the point. It shows that Starlink satellites produce intended and unintended radio emissions. We try to not get into too much of the specific information, is what I call it. So that's a pretty big intrusion. Rapid rise of Starlink satellites being launched into orbits, increasing concern to radio astronomy. So just something to think about if you weren't aware of that being an issue. Next up on the research segment, and this is a laggy day. I'm going to figure out how to get rid of this lag. I don't know how I'm going to do it, honestly, because I don't know exactly what's causing it. But you can let me know at verbaljournalpodcast@gmail.com. And then this is, apparently there was like some of the most significant lightning that ever took place. How do we get the... Lightning is viewed as a localized hazard to the general public, with safety guidance implying being close enough to the thunderstorm to hear or see lightning. That was confusing. Lightning mega flashes challenge this view as a single continuous long horizontal flashes that extend for hundreds of kilometers through the clouds, initiating up to hundreds of cloud-to-ground strokes along their paths. Moreover, mega flashes occur in regions of organized storm systems that might seem inactive, with 30 minutes or longer passing between flashes. They are known to produce noteworthy effects, including potentially damaging high-peak current strokes. I didn't know they were called strokes. Anyways, I just think that they found like a big lightning strike. Oh, stroke. Strikes. Strokes. Those are the same? So they found a big lightning. The concern was voiced that ambient electric field strengths may not be large enough to drive the discharge for such a long span. You know what? I mean, I should maybe like interview someone about stuff instead of just reading a random article from fields I don't understand. Or I should just read the article before. We've talked about that before. Have we considered that, having me read the articles before the podcast recording? We have considered that? You've asked me to do that several times? Okay, yeah. Well, the point is there was a big lightning strike. I thought there would maybe be a picture, but there's not. So let's just move on to the image segment where we get images. So this is the image segment, okay? And for the first part one in the image segment today, we are looking at images of a ancient Egyptian handprint discovered by Cambridge Museum. And I believe this is the handprint. Someone's like, no, the freaking pot. Or I don't know. Is this a pot? It's a soul house. Okay. That's probably what they called it, right? I mean, we wouldn't just call it that if they didn't call it that. Very interesting, very old. I imagine the hand, is it a left hand? Is it a right hand? There's a lot of questions that come up in my mind. Wow. What is that, a prison? No, it's a soul house. Okay. In the image segment, we try not to overthink it. We try to just look at the image and, would you live there? Which would you want to live on, the top floor or the bottom floor? I would say, well, you know what? Because I wonder, is it going to collapse? And then if it does collapse, do you want to be on the top or the bottom? Probably the top. Oh, look at these stairs on the side. That's nice. Little Le Corbusier action. Next up on the image segment, we have, this is a bit of a image segment X horizontal integration desk. Horizontal integration segment. Sorry, we don't do desks anymore. I was rewatching one of my old videos, and I saw this for quality control purposes. And then I saw this shot, and it just occurred to me how good of a shot this is. And specifically, I had never noticed how this plant comes out of Jimmy's body perfectly, like symmetrical, comes out of Jimmy's body. I don't, honestly, I'm sure that was intentional. I do think the cinematographers were thinking about stuff like that. And I would imagine it almost, it feels like it indicates like his intertwinedness with this with the building, with the office space, and how he doesn't want to give it up, and he's like so interconnected that he's visually, compositionally interconnected with the plant outside. So I'm only slightly joking because I do think it was intentional to have him line up in that way. But yeah, it looks like wings almost, like it looks like a superhero wings. Okay. Part 3 in the image segment, we got astronomers witness newborn planets sculpting the dust around it. So that's amazing. Astronomers may have caught a still-forming planet in action, carving out an intricate pattern in the gas and dust that surrounds its young host star. They observed a planetary disk with prominent spiral arms, finding clear signs of a planet nestled in its inner regions. This is the first time astronomers have detected a planet candidate embedded in a disk inside a disk spiral. Oh, is that the planet? Whoa. It's like a little pimple. Wow. This is a beautiful image. For the image segment. This person says, we will never witness the formation of Earth. Yeah, not with that attitude. But here, around a young star 440 light years away, we may be watching a planet come into existence in real time. Well, I hope the people there are nice, and I have some tips about how they should be doing things, frankly. Lastly, on the image segment, we got a article about Robert Rauschenberg's show. I actually mentioned Rauschenberg. Someone asked a book recommendation, maybe on a live stream or something. I was talking about, or no, it was on a previous pod app. I mentioned reading a book by Calvin Tompkins about Robert Rauschenberg called Off the Wall, which I found really inspiring. I mean, it's not my favorite, it's not like the most visually appealing paintings that I've ever seen and visual art that I've ever seen. But Rauschenberg's approach to art is really inspiring, and the way he lived was very inspiring. And I mean, he really did define like a new sort of genre in ways, and really, create a lot of new space. I do find it visually appealing. I don't want to trigger people's like, what the hell? That just looks like garbage. I understand it looks like garbage and so on, but I do think he had a really good eye, and this is very visually appealing, in a sense. And I mean, I wouldn't do it. It's not my style of art, but that's kind of nice. Religious fluke. I've never seen something like that. Oh, that's interesting. Cool. All right. So that's the image segment. And let's get right on into the video segment. So first up on the video segment, part 1 here, we got koi fish following a duck. I just wanted to let you know about this. Koi fish there's a duck, and you'll see a bunch of koi fish following it. I heard about this on the news. I don't know where I heard about this, but yeah, they're following the duck. Why? You know what I mean? Why? And a few of them in the back, they're like, why are we following a duck? They're kind of veering off. They're like, are we just going with the flow? Actually, I feel like this is a metaphor for society. You know what I mean? In the sense that we are following a duck, and we're koi fish. Oh, no. In the sense that we're following a leader under a bridge. No, in the sense that we're following a leader through a stream. I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time with the analogy here. It's an analogy in the sense that we're following did I say following a duck already? And that wasn't right? Okay. I don't know. It's some sort of analogy for humankind. Okay. Oh, sorry. It's not the first time his drum videos have come up on the podcast. Okay, next up we actually have part 2. This is a lot more serious. I saw this news article, Florida State University barring a student from campus while investigating claim of anti-Semitic comments in video. Okay. I saw this article, and I saw all these different loyalist sycophants saying, oh, this guy, apparently, this jokester fascist loser, said that he got this person suspended and kicked off of campus, calling the person a Muslim terrorist. I have no idea why, but let me just show you the video. And then I read the Florida State University thing. You know what I mean? Because I was reading this stuff and I'm like, okay, so what happened exactly? So the Florida State University statement, and we will watch the video. This is the video segment, but the Florida State University statement. I just want you to understand first what we're dealing with. So incident on campus. The student shown has been prohibited from returning to campus. Responding to incidents of hate. We appreciate the prompt report of this incident, which allowed us to address this instance of anti-Semitism without delay. So Florida State condemns anti-Semitism and protects Jewish students from discrimination, anti-Semitism, harassment, intimidation, and violence. Okay. So July 31st, and then I believe this is what they're talking about. Right? I mean, this has to be the same incident, right? It's a Florida State University. Okay, and I know this guy's super like not credible, this source here, but I couldn't find the video anywhere else. Sorry. So the so I just want you to now we're gonna watch the video of anti-Semitism. And by the way, obviously I am Jewish. Okay, let's pull up one more article before we watch the video. Jerusalem Post. Florida State University suspends Jewish student for shoving and verbally abusing Jewish peer. So this person has been suspended. Okay, so this is the video. Oh, wait, here's maybe another angle, so we'll watch that after. First, let's watch this. Okay? And keep your eye out and your ears out for anti-Semitism.
Fuck Israel, free Palestine, put it on fucking Barstool FSU. I really don't give a fuck. You're an ignorant fucking son of a bitch.
Okay. So I didn't hear anything even remotely related to Judaism. Let's hear that one more time. Maybe we missed it.
Fuck Israel, free Palestine, put it on fucking Barstool FSU. I really don't give a fuck. You're an ignorant fucking son of a bitch. Fuck Israel.
You're an ignorant son of a bitch. Is that an anti-Semitic dog whistle calling someone a son of a bitch? It's an anti-Semitic dog whistle. Yeah. No, for sure. Yeah, because Judaism is a matrilineal like religion, right? So son of a bitch, that's an anti-Semitic thing, right? To call someone a son of a bitch, that's got to be anti-Semitic, right? Fuck Israel, free Palestine. Is that anti-Semitic? Like, what's the anti-Semitic thing? Let's watch this angle. Maybe there's a different video.
Fuck Israel, free Palestine, put it on fucking Barstool FSU. I really don't give a fuck. You're an ignorant fucking son of a bitch.
Oh, wait, there was lag. Hold on. Maybe the lag blocked out where there's some sort of comment made about Judaism or this man being Jewish. Now, we can tell he's in a shirt celebrating the armed forces that are murdering Palestinians. So he's wearing an IOF shirt. He's wearing a shirt supporting the armed forces who are murdering people. So there's no reference to Jews in this video. I mean, I know that Israel says it's the Jewish state, but it's not. That's not. So in 2018, Israel passed a law declaring themselves the nation state of the Jewish people, as they've obviously been co-opting the Star of David their whole time, and they've been using Zionism as a shield against their criminal wrongdoing. But there's nothing in this that has anything to do with Judaism. So I'm a little bit confused about all the celebrations of, like, how is there any anti-Semitism being communicated in this clip? So this woman, a graduate student, was suspended for anti-Semitism, and she said, fuck Israel, free Palestine, put it on Barstool Sports, I don't care, you son of a bitch. That's not anti-Semitism. That's not anti-Semitism. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, But what is anti-Semitism, right? Like, you might be like, well, I don't really know what anti-Semitism is. So let's just try to find an example of, let's try to find some sort of example of maybe anti-Semitism, right? Let's try to find some example of anti-Semitism just so we can, I guess, kind of get a sense of what that would look like. Okay. Well, maybe we would look at something like, would someone say that Jews push hatred against white people? That would be maybe something like, this person said Jewish communities have been pushing hatred against whites. Jewish populations, that's sort of a truth bomb. And then Musk said, you have said the absolute truth, the actual truth, which then led to him visiting Israel to prove how not anti-Semitic he was. So this is before he was part of the government administration. So he responded to that person saying, you have said the actual truth, to the person who said that Jews support anti-white hatred. So just so you know, like, the idea, and obviously this is just one example. I'm not looking at the Hitler salute. That was very obvious and so on. But it's just like, it's kind of worth understanding, like, what is anti-Semitism? Because obviously anti-Semitism is a real thing. It just is not, it's not related to criticizing Israel, So, yeah, I don't know. It's just interesting. Just sort of a good example of anti-Semitism. While we're looking at some things of what isn't anti-Semitism, responding, you have said the actual truth, to someone who says that Jews push hatred against white people. Yeah, that's what anti-Semitism looks like, generally, is when you say things like Jews push anti-white hatred. That's a really great example of anti-Semitism. But telling someone that they're a son of a bitch and saying free Palestine, fuck Israel, literally has nothing to do with Judaism. And we are living in a very dark time where non-Jews are acting like they're protecting Jews. Jews do it too, but also a lot of non-Jews are acting like they're protecting Jews when actually they're oppressing people. So I don't like being the cover for that. Fuck Israel, free Palestine. Anyone who supports Israel's actions against the Palestinian people is a son of a bitch. All right, so that is the audiovisual segment for today. And now what I have is a very delectable segment where people really like it. And that is the one and only follow-ups segment. So the follow-up segment is fascinating. It's when I look back at the previous episode and I just kind of follow up. You know what I mean? I just kind of like look back, and if someone ever did do that highlight reel or if I did it, I'm not signing up for this, where it's times when I'm stalling, it would actually be really hard to do because I sometimes hide it really well. Anyways, so previous episode was really fantastic. I wore a really nice shirt for it. So, that's great. This was just for the patrons and the members, so you could get access to this stuff if you become a patron and a member. Wow, I wish I didn't cut my hair. It looks great. I don't know, man. I don't know. This lag's annoying, honestly. So I'm going to have to figure it out. So first up on the follow-ups, just sort of a small thing.
So I had all these exporting issues. I'm actually really curious about how exporting the podcast I'm now recording is going to go, because I don't know why I had all these exports.
Yeah, it went well. Exporting the podcast went fine. It was just the challenge of exporting that video with all the complicated aspects of this. Next follow-up, we got...
Hoping that Google would reach out, and they were like, or that Alphabet Inc. would reach out. And so it was like, we were doing the kind of thing we did with Shinola notebooks, where I was like, I'll just start promoting them, and hopefully Shinola will reach out, which never happened yet.
I just wanted to follow up. That was on the main channel. I was promoting Shinola, obviously. I was not on the podcast. Just wanted to clarify that. Okay, so next up on the follow-up segment, we have one other thing.
I was just talking about her the other day. Banality of evil. The origins of totalitarianism. What was totalitarianism? Hannah Arendt.
Oh, I missed the part I needed.
Thinking on her name. What was her name?
So the segment last week was called The Anality of Evil. It was sort of a take on the banality of evil, but related to anal stuff, because we were talking about cat turd. I didn't have anything for that segment today, so it's going to be like if something comes up. I really tried to find something for the segment, but it's kind of a specific theme. So I just wanted to say I did search to see whether, anyone had ever come up with that before. And anality, people have definitely said it. People have said it. So I wasn't the first one to come up with that. I just wanted to, I feel like I need to be honest about things like that. So, okay, next up on the follow-up segment, what do we got here?
Tech issue. Why don't they just take the money? Sorry, I just had a weird tech issue. You're seeing it, I think, but I just...
No, they weren't seeing it. And we're having all kinds of different tech issues. Okay, next up on the follow-up segment, we got one other thing, or at least here.
So Gunther Eagleman likes seeing people removed from their communities and their homes and their workplaces, presumably if they're not white. I mean, I don't...
Wow.
Don't really know the...
I'm actually going to have to find out a different way to do this podcast if this lag keeps going on. It's going to be fun, though. We're going to have different, journeys of this pod. And it's possible sometimes, things will change for the worse. You know what I mean?
Okay. So Gunther Eagleman likes seeing...
Yeah, I'm trying to follow up, but I keep finding the wrong timestamp.
Deportation. Good riddance to on Twitter. So Gunther Eagleman team...
Yeah, it's trademark. It's not team. I don't know why I said team. And regarding... there's one other thing, I guess, regarding the audio... oh, yeah, I can't believe I forgot to... We were doing this really great, fun thing about Benny Johnson and this ridiculous video he just made. And I forgot to mention the most exciting, fun thing about Benny Johnson. I forgot, because he's very forgettable. And I really didn't know who he was until quite recently, until actually... what I'm about to tell you about happened, which was this very exciting time for Benny, where he wow, this is one of those long form articles where you got to kind of scroll down. So he was recruited by Tenet Media, the Tennessee company identified by the U.S. Department of Justice as a covert project of RT, the Russian state cutout. And so he was apparently paid a lot of money to push some sort of propaganda through a Russian cutout. You can read more about that, but he was one of those people. I'm sure he was fooled and had no idea what he was doing, and so on. Oh, and just like another sort of follow-up to 2 episodes ago, we talked about a contemporary artist's painting being owned by Howard Lutnick and how pathetic that is for art. This was the White House in the most like obvious, transparent, kind of sad and pathetic attempt at like Americana white supremacy, they stole an image used from a painting, and the Painters Foundation spoke out and said, "Fuck you." Okay. So next up, we got the mailbag. This is when I read what people have written in. You could write into verbaljournalpodcast@gmail.com. A lot of people write in. It's always a very exciting time for everyone. Hopefully people are writing in telling me how to fix lag issues. No one wrote in. That's fine. That's great. I'm ready to get out of here. So we're going to thank the patrons and the members. And you could become some of these very cool people by giving me money. If you have money to spend, feel free to do it. Don't worry about it if you don't. But I will start by thanking the fascinating and fantastic people on Patreon. So thank you so much. Starting with, thank you, User, MJ, Mr. Moxie, Miles, Brent, Madeline, Rabid Dog 008, Irene, Anastasios, Linguist Sam, Burrow, Ryan, Thulusaurus Rex, Luca, Gunther, Scott, Caleb, Redgrove, Ashley, Hugh, Ian, Molly, Platinum Sarge, Russ, Elemency, King, Margot, Tom, Noah, Islack, Matt, MK, Ibnomad, Miranda X, Simply Snaps, A, Perpetually Jackson, Francis, Noah, Afazo, Aiden, Misha, Neural Damage, Caffeine, Dakota, Garrett, Parker, Marrow, Grace, Helena, Raymond, Standard, Cedric, Taritsu, and We Live in a Society. And over on the members page, we got a new member. Hey, JP, what's up? And then we also have Matthew, N, Little Mia, Ollie's Playbook, Miss Scary, Jasmine, Simply Snaps, Jifa, Hollow Moon, Pit Inhabitant, and 38% Weird. Just kidding, it's 39% Weird. Okay, so that's pretty much it. That's what I do here on the podcast. We're going to figure out the lag. Everything's going to be fine in terms of the podcast. And I hope you enjoyed this delving into the world of the unknown and also the world of the known. I'm sorry about the marketing thing. I'll be working that out behind the scenes, and I'll be retaining control of the marketing. You know, I'm always complaining about how they make me do everything here on the pod, but it's like, if you're going to make me do everything, at least let me do everything. You know what I mean? Or what I mean is, if you're going to make me do everything, look, I actually don't want to be in charge of marketing, if I'm being totally honest. I don't want to be in charge of marketing. I just don't really understand why, like, I feel like we shouldn't be hiring like a child to be doing our marketing. And I don't know how things ended up that way. And I'm worried about the labor law issue there and like what that means in terms of labor laws. So I'm actually worried about the organization. It's not myself. It's not that I want to be doing the marketing. It's not that I'm a control freak. I don't know if someone was saying that or thinking that, but it's not that I'm a control freak. That's for sure. That's the one thing we can definitively rule out being one of the possible explanations for what's going on here. Okay, well, thank you so much for your time and energy and laughter, and I'll see you on the other side of this episode. Okay, goodbye. This is a podcast or something like that.